We move to the Nima police station, the Gifford Road, that is the 37 road. Then we go to Bema Camp. Then from Bema Camp, we move on the Mahama Road and then to the military cemetery. That's going to be the procession route for tomorrow. So as our viewers are home watching and those who live by and they think they can also pay their last respect by just coming by to the roadside to wave and also pay their last respect to our former president. I will also take the opportunity to inform the public once again that COVID is real. COVID has come to stay with us. So we should all try as much as possible to mask up. We should wear our masks and observe the protocols that are laid in place by way of COVID.
So definitely that will be maybe the challenge that we would have to face from that for the funeral. That will be tomorrow. That is when we get because you can't predict how the people will move out and how they would, and if we are not very careful, that is when maybe we cannot be in position to control the social distancing. But I know that since our brothers and sisters of the military will be there, it's sometimes when you see an authority, you're just supposed to behave. It's just like children in a classroom. When the teacher is out of the classroom, you can hear all sorts of noise. But immediately the teacher walks into the classroom, you can see order. Right. And so far as society is aware that the men and women in uniform are our own brothers. They live with us. When they take off the uniform, they are just like us. You can't even see, you can't recognize him. You can't say he's a soldier or he's a policeman. Immediately he takes off and he's in a civilian, he's in a mufti, he's like us. But then they have joined to do it, and that is what it is their responsibility to drive and direct.
But Gabi, I would believe, I'm very sure that Ghanaians are getting to know the reality that COVID is with us now. And I'm definitely sure that tomorrow, as they come out in their numbers, they will definitely wear their masks and observe the protocols. I believe Ghanaians are very obedient. I believe Ghanaians are very obedient, and they wouldn't want to wait until security or enforcement agencies come out to enforce the laws that they should wear their mask before they wear. I am sure Ghanaians are moving from that level of not understanding what the reality is to understanding what the reality is. Yes. Agencies for coming in to pay their last respect to our former president.
Okay, the funeral service tomorrow.
Yes.
All right. So how's the water region?
Water region is doing well.
It's doing very well.
Very well.
That is that. At the Accra International Conference Center, where we're observing the day 3 of the funeral of former President Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings. With me in the studio for a very short discussion is the Volta Regional Minister, Honorable Archibald, Dr. Archibald Letcher. Dr. Letcher, you're welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
These days, this time around, we can't do anything without looking and respecting the COVID protocol. How are the people of the Volta region respecting the COVID protocols? Regional Minister?
Yeah, thank you very much. There's an upsurge of cases in the region as well. And the Regional Public Health Management Committee has met. And we've advised that we should up our game in terms of the enforcement of the COVID-19 protocols, especially concerning public gatherings and the wearing of masks, which is mandatory. We want to try and enforce it, and the security services have started the enforcement, because it's quite tough. You see people in the lorry parks, in the markets. You drive along the towns and the villages, and the culture of wearing masks has not caught up very well with our people. It was better at the beginning, but we appear to have relaxed. So the security services have been asked to, just as the President of the Republic directed, to try and do some enforcement.
So that is what is happening. Yeah. We hope that the people will understand and respect that, look, COVID is real, it is true, it is not a hoax, it is not a lie. Nobody should tell you that COVID is not there. Somebody wants to profit from COVID, and therefore and please protect yourself.
That's right.
Let the regional minister assist you to protect yourself, and let our brothers and sisters in the Volta region know that we need them all together to move Mother Ghana forward.
Right.
Honorable, now Regional Minister.
Regional Minister designate.
Regional Minister designate. Former Minister, now Regional Minister designate.
Yes, sir.
Now, Dr. Letcher,
Yes, sir.
we are seeing the mortal remains of former President Jerry John Rawlings. He stood in for certain values, and whenever you hear probity, accountability, integrity, and social justice.
Right.
All these words were there, but immediately you mention them, then what comes into mind is Jerry John Rawlings. Now Jerry John Rawlings is lying in a casket before us. Those values he stood for, values that he spoke about. How do we, as a people, and you people as politicians, encourage the people to respect? Because it should not be only for him. It should, if it can develop this country, then it should be something that all of us agree and accept and live with. How do we ensure that, you as politicians, ensure that the people accept it, and everybody will play his part to move this country forward?
I think that those values are very, very, very vital for the development of our country. And if we are able to uphold those values, then the resources that we have can be targeted at the development of our country and to improving the lives of our people. So they are very, very important values that all of us as a country must embrace. It's not only politicians, even from our families, family heads must be accountable for any revenues that come to the family. Chiefs must be accountable, and in our small offices, wherever we find ourselves, whether in public service or the private sector, we have to apply those values if we are to actually develop our country, because that is what we can. Those values will protect the public purse and make sure the little resources that are made available will actually go to provide the services that they are intended to do. So we remember First Lieutenant J.J. Rawlings for his passion for accountability, transparency, and social justice. And I've had a bit of personal relationship with him as a minister in the region, because he lived sometimes in Tefle, which happens to be the southern district of the Volta region. And he was a great advisor. I took the opportunity to consult him on certain issues, and he was very helpful and supportive to me. And I've met him at many functions where his usual self was displayed. And I think that Ghana has lost a very important personality. But we hope that we shall continue to apply the principles that he lived for, especially social justice. And he was also very passionate about the development of our country, and he has played his role. And I believe that after him, all the governments have also done their bit. And our president, the Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, is also very much passionate about the development of this country, and he has love for our country. And that is why we are all here to pay our last respect to him and to give him a befitting farewell. And so we appreciate, and especially I'm from the Volta region. He's our son, and so it's important that we are here. So I'm here with my former deputy minister, who also came with me, because we have to be present. And we are a bit emotional because we had close relationship with him. But what can we do? That's all of us will one day go. You say taking the lead, but whatever is left behind, whatever principles is left behind, we must uphold those principles and apply them to our everyday life. Everyday life. What is also in the church? Right. Everyday life. So he was a great man.
A very good man.
We thank God for his life.
If you look at his activities, look at him carrying cocoa, look at him supporting in building rail tracks, look at him supporting in getting rid of filth, look at him helping at a point in time. There are even pictures of him pounding fufu doing this. And these are spirit of volunteerism. But now volunteerism is missing from the youth. How do we encourage the spirit in our young ones? The young ones of today, anytime at all you talk about doing something, then they ask you how much?
How much are you going to pay me?
How much are you going to pay me?
That's the first question.
That's the first question. And if there's no money value, then
it's unfortunate.
You see. So how do we translate the values, the real thinking, the support from the former president, and let it get down to the youth, and let the youth see the need to support in nation building?
It's important that these things begin at home, in our various homes and in our schools and in our communities. Very, very important that the spirit of volunteerism is revived in our community. I have a personal story about young people who came to me that they want to come and help you. They've seen you from afar. They want to get closer to you, and they come and stay around me for three months, just trying to volunteer. And I still have people around me who volunteer. And my own father, my late father, was also volunteered to be a houseboy to some expatriates, and that offered him the opportunity to go to school and get educated. So it's important that young men, if you have the opportunity, volunteer your services, and if you work hard and you have integrity, you are honest, that will open a door for you to get to a higher level. So we have to remove this notion of putting monetary value on everything Meanwhile, the question you are asking the employer, how much are you going to pay me? The employer doesn't even know your value because you haven't started day one.
Day one.
For him to know how useful you are.
You are.
But when you start and he sees your value, you'll be surprised that even what he was going to offer you, 1,000, within 3 months it will get to 2,000. So, and the Bible also says we shouldn't despise humble beginnings. So start small, and God Himself will bless you and lift you to a higher level. So it's important that the spirit of humility, selflessness, is what will help the young people to decide to go and volunteer. We have a government program called the NAPCO program, where the government brought a policy to get young graduates who are unemployed to go into apprenticeship in various departments and so on. Those who are humble enough to accept it, many of them are getting better opportunities. But some of the people didn't value the policy, and therefore they are still home, unemployed. And they will tell you they want to work at Bank of Ghana, they want to work somewhere. But start from somewhere. And God would open greater doors for you. So we have to work on that in our homes and in our churches. After all, there are people who work in the church as ushers, cleaners, who are not paid any money. And so if we begin to work on that I'm not doing anything, can I go and offer my service to this business? And you get there, so CEO, I'm a graduate in ICT, but I haven't got a job, and I realize that I can be of some value to you. I am here to volunteer service and support your company to grow. Obviously, at the end of the month, that man is not going to look at you to go home with nothing, because you are going to take transport, you must have lunch. Therefore, he's going to reward you temporarily until one day he will tell you that, man, John, I wouldn't allow you to go, so I want to offer you a job, a contract for 2 years. So the volunteerism, if you are a hard-working person and you are honest and transparent, if you come and go and volunteer with a company, you are likely to be engaged permanently until you get a better offer and move on. So it's very important that we
cultivate that spirit.
Right, very important.
Now, the man lying in front of us, as you said, rightly said, you put it, is our son, and a very solid son, a very strong son.
That's right.
A very strong son is called.
Yes,
how are the people in the Volta region seeing this loss?
Yeah, we are very sad that he is not able to stay with us longer, because he has a lot of experience that he